So this announcement isn't surprising, as Xfinity will end its sponsorship of the NASCAR Xfinity Series after this season 2025, but will stay on as a premier partner of the NASCAR Cup Series. This announcement was made back in February. NASCAR announced that Xfinity had signed a multi-year deal to stay on as a premier partner, but will only sponsor the Xfinity Series for one more year, which is this year. Here's Matt Lederer, who is the Vice President of Brand Partnership and Engagement at Comcast, talking about the partnership with NASCAR and more. We're not just entering year 11 of our partnership. We're embarking on year 1 of a renewed relationship with NASCAR, filled with fresh energy and exciting opportunities to enhance the competition on the track in a way that has never been done before and continue to connect with fans in new and engaging ways, said Lederer. This change came with the announcement of Xfinity sponsoring the fastest lap in Xfinity, Cup, and the Chrysler Truck Series, which awards a point to a driver who has the fastest lap during a race in each series. Lederer told the Sports Business Journal that the decision to move on from the Xfinity Series after this year and focus instead on being a premier partner in the Cup Series was due to the fact that, quote, 11 years of being an entitlement partner and having the run that we had has been amazing, and now I think it's time for someone else to take that mantle and continue to grow the series to heights that we can't even consider at this point. Here's more of what Lederer had to say to the Sports Business Journal. I will forever, for the rest of my career, be really proud of what we've been able to do collectively and the way we've taken this series to a new level and therefore our brand to a new level, he said. Sports Business Journal also reported that Xfinity will continue its sponsorship of 2311 Racing in the Cup Series and sponsor Tyler Reddick at Atlanta Motor Speedway, with Xfinity Mobile being on board the car at that race. Here's Michelle Byron, who is NASCAR's Executive Vice President and Chief Partnership and Licensing Officer, talking about the partnership with Comcast and more. NASCAR is incredibly appreciative of Comcast's continued partnership and their commitment to innovation and fan engagement within our sport, she said. Their contributions over the past decade, from enhancing the fan experience to supporting community initiatives, have been invaluable. We look forward to building on the success of our partnership during the 2025 season and beyond. This announcement isn't surprising, like I said. I talked about in my Xfinity Series to the CW video, which I said was interesting. I highly recommend that video. I'll leave that in the description. And I talked about that video since the Xfinity Series is owned by Comcast, which is what I meant to say Xfinity specifically. I would say the Xfinity Series is owned by NASCAR. And I talked about that video because of the fact that it was going to the CW at that time. It didn't actually end up going to the CW until like late last year, 2024. It was originally supposed to be in 2025, but it got a head start there. And I talked about whether it would still be called the Xfinity Series because of that reason, all that. So it's not a surprise that it ended up being like that because of the fact that Xfinity itself owns, NBC and USA and all that. Comcast is the owner of all of that, especially there. But yeah, why would they air on a network that isn't theirs? So it's not surprising that this ended up happening, but definitely it was cool that they gave NASCAR a 1 year notice to find another partner and all that. And had an incredible run, a long run. 11 years especially. It sponsored the series longer than what Nationwide did. Nationwide sponsored that series from 2008 till 2014. So there was definitely a much shorter run for Nationwide than what Xfinity had. But definitely this was going to happen, especially. But it is what it is there. But at least drivers won't have to say, oh, as fast as Xfinity 10G or as fast as Xfinity Mobile and all that. So definitely that's just kind of a little bit cheesy after a while, seeing like drivers continue to say that after races or before races as well. So, but I'm sure there'll be a different sponsor that they'll plug after or before a race as well. But yeah, it is what it is there, especially. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what sponsor will come in and replace Xfinity. Hopefully it's Busch Beer, especially there. I talked about in my Busch Beer is back as like the pole award for NASCAR video as well. And in my Chrysler Truck Series video, which I'll leave those in the description as well. I talked about bring back the Busch Series. And I still agree with that, especially now. Especially hopefully that'll happen. Especially Chrysler came back to sponsor the Truck Series. Why not Busch come back and sponsor the Xfinity Series as well? But in all frankly, who knows what it'll actually be. If Busch did come back, it will probably be the Busch Light Series. Obviously, it wouldn't have the same feel to it, but it will still be Busch. But who knows what it'll be. And time will tell how that'll be there as well. But hopefully, NASCAR will find a good sponsor for that series, especially. Some people might have talked about why not call it the Grand National Series as well? But who knows what it'll be, especially because of the fact that the Cup Series doesn't have a sponsorship model with them. They do have partners with Xfinity and Coca-Cola and the aforementioned Busch Light as well. So we'll see what happens. Time will tell what the sponsor will be and all that. But definitely it'll be interesting to see what sponsor it'll be as well, especially because of the fact that the Xfinity Series hadn't had a sponsor that was different in a while, especially since it was nationwide in 2014, the last time it sponsored NASCAR's second series. So we'll see what happens with that, but definitely, hopefully, that'll bring incredible nostalgia if Busch came back. But we'll see what happens with all that as well. But definitely, I'm sure NASCAR will find the right sponsor to fit the name of that series as well there. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like. And if you are brand new, subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.